That's what happens when a locker room stays a locker room, no matter who walks out the door. What's up, Mafia? Darius Slay just said the quiet truth about Jalen Hurts out loud, and it's not what the Philadelphia media wants you to hear. ESPN just dropped a stat, and it backs up exactly what I've been saying for weeks. And something happened down in Florida that changes how you should be looking at this entire season. We've got a lot to get into, so let's get it mixing. Alright, let's start here, because ESPN finally had an unbiased host on the air this week. Darius Slay spent 5 years with the Philadelphia Eagles organization. He has relationships with both Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. So when ESPN sat him down and asked him about AJ Brown, he answered all their questions without hesitation. But that's not the part that stood out to me. The part that stood out to me is what he had to say about Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts is about to do something that he's never really done. At least not in this capacity. There's a new play caller in Sean Mannion running this offense. And it's going more under center than Hurts has ever done in his career. But hold on, because this changes the whole picture for Jalen Hurts. Going from reading the defense head on to lining up under center with his back turned is not a small adjustment. That's a completely different way to play the game. Darius Slay basically said it himself. Hurts has had different coordinators every single year of his career. New systems, new verbiage, and new ways of play. And every single time, Jalen Hurts adjusts. Darius Slay called it a good challenge for Jalen Hurts to overcome.
Being in that locker room, so much from the outside, us as analysts, we have so much to say about Jalen Hurts. Super Bowl MVP, an unbelievable career so far. They're going to get back to quarterback under center, play action, throwing the ball over the middle. Is that something that you believe Jalen Hurts can thrive in under new coordinator Sean Mannion?
That's a goal for him. One thing I know about Hurts, he's been having different coordinators for the whole career, so he's very good at adjusting. But one thing Hurts, he's going to find a way to make him comfortable. So with him being under center, I think will be a new test for him. You know, turning his back to the offense, to the defense, and seeing a different picture from when he's seen it from under the center to when he turned his back to now he's seeing a different. So it's going to be a good challenge for him. And one thing about Hurts, he loves a challenge, and he like to exceed those challenges. So
now we're going to move on to what Darius Slay had to say about AJ Brown. Just a quick mention because that's not today's story. Darius Slay made it clear that AJ Brown is a great teammate. He wanted more targets. He wanted more numbers. He wanted his own Hall of Fame case built up. And that's the extent of it all.
I've been in the locker room for a long time, 5 years there. I got a great history with these guys, man, both of these guys as well. They both great people. You know, AJ is a great teammate, one of the best teammates. Hurts is the same way. He's a great leader. They both leads in different ways, but AJ less vocal, and Hurts is a lot vocal because he's the quarterback. You know, these guys here, man, they very talented, man. AJ for sure was a win first guy, as in like I'm doing this for the team, but as you're a player, you know, playing this game, you do want to have your own individual goals. You know, I don't ever know a guy that's that elite that just, you know, don't want his accomplishments to be acknowledged. So he want to be a Hall of Famer, and he felt as in whatever he needed to do is to get what he need to get is what he need to get.
But this is nothing new. We all knew this. AJ Brown wanted his own stats. It wasn't about the team. It was all about individual accolades. But we all know the real story is about Jalen Hurts, a quarterback being asked to face away from the defense at the snap for the first time during his career. And somehow, that's supposed to unlock more from a guy who's already accomplished so much during a short time in the NFL. Now, let me get your opinion. Do you think Jalen Hurts adjusts to under center play fast, or does his offense need a few weeks to find himself? Drop it in the comments section and let me know. Now, this is the part where things get wild, because while everyone's debating whether Hurts can adapt and become a better leader, Hurts has already answered that question with his own actions. John Clark reported that over a dozen Eagles offensive players spent time together in Orlando, training, playing golf, building chemistry before camp even opens. The quarterback room and the pass catchers were all in the same building, on the same fairways, getting reps in weeks before they had to. Now don't skip this part, because this all ties directly into whether this offense works when the season opens in September. All this team building, all the refinement, all this time sharpening their skills. This definitely kills the narrative that Jalen Hurts isn't a good leader, that he's unapproachable, and that he causes a divide in the locker room. Someone with those traits doesn't go out of his way to grow and bond with his teammates during the offseason. Chemistry doesn't get built in week 1. It gets built in June and July, on a random Tuesday in Orlando that no one outside the building knew about and no one was watching. Now let's get back to ESPN. They actually had something positive to say about the Philadelphia Eagles. ESPN dropped their roster rankings and projections, and the Philadelphia Eagles land at number 2 overall. They're behind the Rams, probably due to the Myles Garrett acquisition, and ahead of the Seahawks, fresh off of their Super Bowl win. They even have them before the Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. This is with no AJ Brown, a new offensive coordinator, and an entirely new offense. This roster still grades out to be top 2 in the entire league. That goes to show you that ESPN believes what a lot of us were already thinking. This team just lost one piece and still has the depth to be scary and compete in the NFL. But I will say this offense might actually perform different without forcing the ball to one guy on every single snap. Spread it out and let Jalen Hurts make quick reads while he's under center. Let Devontae Smith eat. Let Saquon Barkley eat. Let this receiving core go out there and show us what they're actually made of. When this happens, I'm sure this new offense will surprise a lot of the doubters. So, where are we right now with the Philadelphia Eagles? When people ask if the Eagles took a step back with this offense, to me, I don't see it that way. I see a team who lost one guy who was chasing individual stats over rings and replaced them with a dozen guys who spent their entire offseason building something bigger than one target share. I see a quarterback who's had a new system thrown at him almost every single year of his career, and every single time he's found a way to make it work. This year is no different. New play caller, new offense, new reads. And somehow, with all the uncertainty, the league looks at this roster and calls it a top 2 team in this football league. That's not luck. This isn't hype. That's what happens when a locker room stays a locker room no matter who walks out the door. So the noise about AJ Brown, the noise about chemistry, and the noise about whether Hurts can handle one more adjustment, I get why people are asking. But everything I've seen this offseason tells me that answer is already there. He's done it before, and this roster is built to have him do it again. So here's the real question. Not AJ Brown, not the drama. Can Jalen Hurts handle lining up under center, facing away from the defense, run a brand new offense, and still be the guy who wins in January? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, turn on that notification bell for future videos and updates about training camp, and follow us on all the socials. And once again, I've been Brother Shy, and this has been the Midnight Green Mafia.